How's it going, everyone? We're just gonna go over some components for a PC build. It's gonna be in a very old, well, not very old, Antec case. So I want to get all these components all cleaned up before I get them in there. I'm just gonna show you what kind of brushes I use. So like I'll use ultra fine. These are all very ultra fine brushes. You can get these like paint brushes and that. These are not cheap. Like I believe this paintbrush alone was like $60. And then you can get these like smaller, more detailed ones. Still, like, you know, not fine tipped and the coated ones. You want still the ultra fine. Still some like a bristle on these ones though. Not like the horsehair style on this. Like this is like silk fine. While this one here still has like a little bit of rigidity, but this is more or less for cleaning the blades. So clean like the blades. Oh yeah, I can show you my Zotac. So with these Zotac fans here, they're amazing. Probably, I'm not gonna lie, the best fans for anything. These fans here. But I had to replace them, and I did not want to spend the $40 to get the two. Technically, if I got the two, it wouldn't work. I would have to get all three, just the way the links work in these. But for my 1080 Ti, I bought spare fan blades. When I used 1080 Ti because I figured, you know, the fans were gonna be bad on the 1080 Ti. Now the fans were like brand new still. I tested them all out. The bearings were very nice. Everything spun very nice. But if anyone has like a Zotac 3070 Ti, 3070, I believe the 3080, as long as it's not the Amp Hollow Extreme and it's just strictly the Amp Hollow, the fan blades fit perfectly in here. The pinout for the power, so I don't think you'll be able to see it. So the pinout for the power for these fan blades as well, they go perfectly in and are pinned the same as Zotac. So lucky for me, I checked it all over, plugged everything in, everything works just fine. It is kind of loud with these EVGA fans. I've always noticed with the 1080 Ti, let's say when I was like overclocking them really hard, they would spin up pretty fast and they would be really loud. These Zotacs are loud, but not when all three are going. Like when all three of these ones are going, it's crazy how loud it gets. But yeah, for anybody that wanted to know about, or anybody that has, nice extraction fan going here. So generally when I'm doing this kind of stuff, generally when I'm doing like cleaning and that, I usually have like an extraction fan of some sort going. It just pumps it out the window for me. It could be different for you. You might have to do like a special filter in that, just a little bit of dust. Plus I like to keep my room somewhat dust free, right? Good luck doing that. You can get like carbon filters for the dust extractors and that, so that way you can filter it before you pump it out wherever you want, or even recirculate through your room if you wanted to with a carbon filter. Alrighty. Oh yeah, so this is again, should probably clean a bit more, but there we go. Oh yeah, you can see it. Here we can see it. So you see underneath here, right underneath, yeah, you see a little bit of the copper shims on this one here. So when I get, especially these 30 series or up, I'll copper mod the memory, because GG, well, especially If your memory is GDDR6X, I would suggest copper modding it. If you don't know how to do it, I can make a video on how. For the Zotacs, it's a 0.5. Yeah, for these Zotac amp hollows, it's a 0.5 millimeter shim, and you can get these on Amazon, packs 100 for I think $15 maybe. Or you can get, you know, smaller packs for less, of course. But me, I usually buy the 100 packs just because I use a lot of them for memory mods and other things. But for this, it's a 0.5. But you want to have a 200 grit sandpaper, and you just want to like rub it 3 times, maybe 4 times each side on every one on the copper shim, so that way it has some sort of grit. 'Cause I find they're really slippery in that, and when you put like for me, I don't normally use thermal pads. I would use like a thermal grease, non-conductive thermal grease, or you can get the pads, but you'd have to get like the 0.2 or 0.3 millimeter or 0.1 millimeter. They're very thin. I'm pretty sure the point. I don't generally use, like I said, thermal pads. I normally just use the shims, and then if you just use thermal paste with the 0.5 and you sand down, like I said, just very gently on both sides of the shims with 200 grit sandpaper, it's enough for these. And it's, when I say it's a perfect close together for everything, it's perfect. The only difference you guys will notice with the copper mods is your core temperature will go up, and that's just due to these coolers like to have. I'll put the extraction fan going now. So these coolers generally like to cool the memory as well as the actual GPU core. So that's the only downfall about that. So this isn't too bad. When I blow on it, it's gonna be really bad. So the main thing I like to do when doing this is just try to knock all the some of the dust down, more or less into between the fins. Some people don't like doing that, but when you blow through on these ones here, it's a direct through path. It's like a completely. When you blow through here, it's completely open on this side here, so all the dust just shoots out. That's why I don't mind doing it that way. These are some big coolers, so they need to be cleaned. You want that cooling performance on these cards for sure. Main thing is that memory. That GDR6 is crazy hot. Mine don't go past 70 degrees with the copper mods. Without copper mods, they're going up to like 100, 110. I couldn't do that. No way. I want my graphics, every graphics card I buy and modify, and they've always lasted me for years. Years and years. CPUs on the other hand is a different story. I'm not so good with CPU. Well, I'm really good at overclocking the CPUs, making sure that I can make the CPU last. So like when you do stuff like this. So this is a I think this was the 13900 KF or 13900K. Yep, this was. Yep, this was the 13900K. I also have a 12900K somewhere that's done like this as well, but well, there you go. There's almost $1,000. Just there's $1,000. Might make a keychain out of it. But yeah, you gotta be real careful with these. So my problem was not delidding or anything like that. I can delid, and I do my delidding with a vise. It's a little. I have like a jig kind of like the way DeBauer does his with his tightening, but I have like a special it's a machinist vise, and I'll have to take it out sometime. I haven't taken it out in a while. Yeah, if throw a comment in the comment section below if you want to see how I delid for like CPUs. Doesn't matter if it's Xeons, your older ones. Doesn't matter if it's like an i5 2500, 2400, 2600, i7 2600, your Xeons. I can delid all of those and show you guys how I make like a jig for the CPU, so that way when you're using like a vise, again, you would have to use a certain vise. You don't want to use any kind of overly torque, like one that you'd put too much torque on, because when you do the delids on the newer stuff, you're gonna want to heat up the top part here. So you're gonna want to heat up that copper, so that way we can help. Most of the stuff nowadays is soldered on. Everything's soldered IHS. So plus there's also that glue around on the sides that doesn't help. But if you guys want to see the comments in the comment section below, and I'll let you know, or just throw me a comment in the comment section below if you would like to see some delidding. I don't mind delidding. Like I said, delidding is not the problem with overclocking. If you start off like I said, just start off with some cheap CPUs. You can buy like boxes of 2000s, 200s. Some people sell them 500s for like Xeons, like the older Xeons. You can practice on those. They're not easy, but also not hard. So like when you want to step up, you would have more trust in yourself, more or less. You would have more of that feel, even when you're using like a DeBauer D-Lid kit or any of those D-Lid kits. There's force. Like, people don't realize, like, you gotta force it and you gotta heat it up. Yeah, force it, you gotta heat it up. As soon as it moves, I mean, as soon as you think it moves that little bit, you're gonna turn that right around. You gotta slightly move it back over, move it around, slightly back over. With the newer ones, a lot of people had trouble with yeah, a lot of people had trouble with this. Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, so a lot of people had trouble with the when they delidded, they would hit the very small SMDs, they're called. So you can see them. They're just like on the row right there, on the side there. Then on the 12900K, I'm not sure where that one is. Actually, I should put that back in the case. I know it doesn't work. I've already tried everything. I'm pretty sure when I went for the one world record I went for, the temperature seemed fine. Like, I mean, everything looked beautiful. But this is what happens when you use liquid metal when you're doing extreme cold. You can't. Don't do it. Do not go below 10 degrees on the CPU at idle temperature. Do not go below 10 degrees while you're using liquid metal. You want liquid metal to stay liquid. As soon as you go to about close to freezing temperature, the liquid metal will harden. When it does that, it does like a crystallization, and it doesn't have that stick, like that complete flatness. It would crystallize and like basically pull out of spots. And what I think it did there was it pulled out, and when it pulled out, it got heat soaked, and it got heat soaked on 1 or 2 cores, just way too much, and boom, done. And that's just part of the game, to be honest. Like, I got some world records on it. This CPU was not the greatest for memory. Actually, my 12600K that I'm running to do this has probably one of the best memory controllers I've ever seen. A 12600K and I can get my I have probably one of the fastest speeds on 12600K from memory, not for the actual overclocking. I think I only got to 5.8 gigahertz on 2 cores, which isn't a whole lot. 5.6 all core, not great compared to some of the higher ones, but for the memory, this thing is absolutely, my 12600K is absolutely insane compared to this 13900K. What? My 12900K I didn't get as much testing into it. I owned it for about a year. It was delated for the whole year. Again, going for like a Cinebench world record. Oh yeah, same thing. So after doing the 12900K, I also did liquid metal on it. Again, the liquid metal did not touch anything else, but when you get these CPUs, like I said, during idle temperature below a certain temperature, liquid metal does not become liquid metal anymore. It becomes your worst nightmare, your absolute worst nightmare. So about $2,000 lost last year doing a couple world records. Not the worst year I've had. Destroyed a few RX 580s, 6700 XTs, couple 6700 XTs. That sucked. Since yeah, they were, when I got those, they were not cheap at all. Very not cheap. Right now, since now I got most of this fans cleaned down, like the sides, everything pushed out, I'll just do a quick run through with the ultra soft. I mean, this is, oh yeah, it's so soft. It's so soft. So I'll just basically just run this through everything real quick. And that more or less just draws some air down through it while getting any of that last little bit. Now, a lot of people have worries about doing this. When you're doing the fans and stuff like this, you have no worries. When you're going and cleaning down by your PCI Express here on these cards, you'll find that there are some very small SMDs, which are just it's a surface mounted diode, basically. So what you can call, what they call them are, yeah, surface mounted diodes, resistors basically. So you got different kind of resistors, capacitors, MOSFETs in there as well. More or less, it's a lot of resistors in these. And that'll be just from different kind of ohms, going to different components and making sure as it's traveling through the traces and all that, it'll hit another resistor of some sort, and just make sure that or capacitor, but the capacitors do a different job, but the resistor will make sure everything's running smoothly throughout the process of transferring that power, because when you're going from the power in the wall to a graphics card, it's a big change. So that's why the capacitors will hold up charges and make sure there's only so much being pumped out or giving it what it wants exactly when it wants it. That's why Nichicon makes really good capacitors. If you want to do modding, go to Amazon. I believe Amazon sells them. Just some Nichicon capacitors, whatever voltage you're looking for your graphics card. You can just double on, like literally just connect on either the back side of wherever the capacitor is on this side here. So we'll say you want to do like that capacitor right there, or that capacitor back there. What you can literally do is either just run like the actual soldering So the whole capacitor you can literally just stick there, solder on. If there was actual pads you can see through there, but the easiest way is literally just taking off this back plate and then soldering on the Nichicons, which are the same voltage, the same everything, but it will literally make it so the transferring it's smoother, so like the signal integrity of the power going through, it'll just be better. It'll be nicer for the graphics card. The graphics card won't have to fight as much on these very weird spikes and droops and that, because that's what happens with power. Power is not perfectly stable. But the more capacitors you can put on, like I said, the Nichicons are really nice. The more capacitors you can put on, the smoother the transfer of everything is. It goes to a certain point, of course. Depends on what kind of cards you got, what you're looking to achieve. But if you're definitely doing like core voltage mods, memory mods, definitely core voltage mods though, you definitely should look into it. Alright, so I got the extraction fan going. You probably hear it. I'm gonna blow into the mic. I am gonna mute myself. Could just give you loud. I'm gonna show you the dust that comes in. Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as I thought. I usually try to keep my graphics cards fairly clean. That's usually all you need to do. You don't need to go too crazy. My lovely EVGA Zotac card. If I do get enough like and comments on more shunt modding, I'll show you some shunt mods on more expensive cards. I don't mind showing. It's not too difficult to do once you've done it a few thousand times, I guess. Alright, so that's the graphics card, nice and clean. The RAM I've had, yeah, I'm not tearing it apart and cleaning it. It's already been done a few times already this year, and it does not need to be done again. So I'll just make sure the RAM's nice and clean here. I'm not sure if I'll be using this RAM kit. Probably not. Oh, definitely not this RAM kit. yeah, definitely not this RAM kit. I was like, man, these look like DDR2. Yeah, they're DDR2. So we won't be using those. We'll probably use these little guys. So I probably have. I'm not sure if I've showed these ones yet. These are some KVR. Oh yes, that's right. I gave a link to these KVR 133s. These are nice. So you can overclock these fairly decent. These little guys. Really decent. I mean, they're very, very cheap. I think you can get these for $6 or less a stick, and these are 4 gigs each. Give us our full amount that we're doing on this build. So I'm gonna go on to. You can see right there. So if you can see right there, we got this bad boy. All right. So this is just one of a couple I have. It's an Intel DX58 SO. This is like Intel did some pretty cool stuff back in the day. This motherboard's like 10 plus years old. The layout's awesome. So this is the second one of mine. Bought because these are technically going to be fairly rare boards. Only because people that have them now overclock and they've been breaking them, or something's been going on. But as you can see, look, reds. The reds. Oh yeah, this thing has so much. The thing was built so nice back in the day. Very nice overclocking board. Not the best overclocking board you can get for sure. For the 58 series. So the X58s are the Xeon lineups, or the i7 930s, 920s, up to like the 990Xs. 980Xs, more or less, people know of. But yeah, like I got. So I'm gonna be doing this one. This one right here is the X5650. Great CPU. And I might do. This is just a 4-core 8-thread. The X5650 is a 6-core 12-thread. This is just a 4-core 8-thread, but it's an i7 930, which are fairly decent for the gamers back in the day that wanted a fairly cheap CPU. Nowadays, they're just great for overclocking and trying to get some scores without breaking a budget. So this is the second board. Like I said, it's Intel. Try to get you the. Oh yeah, look at that. That's awesome, eh? So it's got the cover. I took the fan off of this one and put it on that one, but what I'm gonna be doing is taking that one and putting it back on and using this board, because I wanted to keep it the complete. More or less, I was testing that board in another system. Let me just grab that. Alright, so it's the exact same board, only I grabbed the cooler here. I'll show you. Yes, I know you got clips, but you're not letting go. I'll be very gentle, because these are, like I said, to find them complete or not easy to find complete. Come on. Ah, thank you. Alright, so this is the secondary. Well, yeah, this is the secondary board I bought. This is the first one, which is dirty, which I'm cleaning up. This one I've already cleaned up. As you can see, it's probably very shiny. Yes, it is very shiny. Yeah, no, those are not. That's not any smudges or anything. Those are the traces you see there, shining. Oh yeah, look at the traces. Look at them all. Look so beautiful. Look at the traces. It just looks so good. Yeah, Intel back. Like Intel, you gotta start doing stuff like this. You gotta start doing stuff like this. Like, build yourselves your nice motherboards like this again. So this board, the VRMs are not the greatest, even with these coolers. Luckily, we're out of the X48. We no longer have a north bridge to worry about cooling. When you overclock on the X48s, you had to cool the north bridge or else. So the main reason why these boards became fairly popular with people that were overclocking, what was it? The 580s, I believe. The TIs. I do believe it was around that time. One of those. Correct me if I'm wrong for sure. But back in the day, to get more power out of your PCI Express, what they did was they put either a Molex, you can add in a Molex to give it more power, or SATA, or for your hard drive, you plug it in the bottom there, or you can do Molex there on top of your power through your motherboard power, your normal motherboard power, which Intel, look how smart they were. The RAM slots were very close to the CPU here. Look at that. Look how close those RAM slots are. RAM slots extremely close. So signal integration was minimal back then. It was still very good because it was DDR3, and its passing throughs were fairly good. But look, everything's, when you put this in a PC case, everything connects over here. It's not going to interfere with the GPU. It doesn't interfere with the GPU. If you get one of these boards, don't use the top slot. You can use the top slot, but you're gonna lose all your performance. You're gonna want to use your secondary, which is give you your full. Yeah, not much else to really talk about. Like I said, if this board doesn't turn on, or something's going on and it's not working properly, or it's shutting down, you can add more power through a Molex or through like a SATA, which is pretty cool. This is the secondary board, so I'll get the first one I bought. So the first one I bought, oh yeah, we'll plug it all in too, make it all look nice. Alright, so I gotta clean this board. You'll notice how dirty it is. Oh wow, she doesn't look too bad on camera. So this fan, actually, the LED is blue. Everything's blue. So on the other board there, that's a secondary. My first board that I bought, it came with everything and an i7-920. I bought it all for like $100. In my opinion, I stole that. This was 3 years ago now, which people were upgrading, or a lot of miners are wanting to mine, so they were selling off their older stuff. And then yeah, they got a hardcore overclocking or something. I'm not sure, and I had to buy it for $100. i7-920. It's cheap. It's like $20. So I got the board for $80 basically. The only downfall is I don't have the actual box. One thing with me is I try to buy it all original, even the box. It has to be original. My GTX 1080, my 3070. My 20 Super, but it doesn't have the shell, which kind of sucks. My i7 8700K, i5 12600K, my 12900K with the special case, the 13900KF there. My motherboard, the Z690 Orth Master motherboard. Well, the box is in great shape when I got it. The boxes that I got for when I bought my stuff brand new still looks basically brand new. I'll show you the Zotac box for sure. But yeah, everything's blue. Everything looks nice. Overclocking was pretty good. Memory's not the greatest. You can switch over some pins and you can get a little bit more performance out of it. It's not like the Asus P7s. I'm not sure where my my P7's in another PC right now, but this is not comparable to the best overclocking motherboards for the X58s, so like your Xeons and your i7 920s, that kind of generation. i7 930s, 950s, you know, all of them. Wasn't as good, but it's still amazing. I've gotten some pretty good scores on hardware bots. Decent scores. Yeah, I'm very happy with the purchase on this one. This is going into the PC build that I'm doing, which is going to go into an Antec case, which I'll show here in a minute. I guess this wasn't actually that dirty. It's been sitting for a long time. Been sitting for a very long time. So when you're doing this, you want to stay away from the pins. None of these can catch a pin. You catch a pin, you'll bend it. You bend the pin too much, you'll break the pin. In my Asus P7 or P6, I'm not sure. It's still for the X58s. It has broken pins, completely bent, gone, basically pins. But those pins were strictly for the memory. For gaming, you can't game, but if you want to get some really nice overclocking scores on it, it is crazy. You can you can pump as much voltage as you want, basically, out of that board, just by switching over a couple pins. And in the BIOS, it literally, like, you can do whatever you want. You want to put 9 volts in it, you can put 9 volts in it. Like, it was crazy board. It's a crazy board. I'll probably go through that board too. But yeah, just getting everything nice and clean before I want to throw it into that. Definitely not a video that I normally do, that's for sure. Well, it's looking pretty good. Looking fairly clean. Now, another thing is, I wonder if the battery's still going to be good in it. Okay, so that's that for the board. Yeah, so like for most of my builds, I'm just gonna be using a cheap SSD. Just unless I'm gonna be doing like I'll probably redo my daily. It's custom water cooled, so kind of want to get it looking a bit nicer. Maybe, I don't know. I do too much overclocking, so taking it apart and all that, just pain in the butt. Right now, with all the long cords and that, makes things actually a lot nicer. All the long tubing in that may look bad, but for what I use it for, it's just fine. Again, it's just gonna be using a Crucial. I do have a Kingston that I normally use as well, but I got everything set up on the Crucial right now, which is the Steam account. Everything on that. The Game On, I'll be using that. Now I'm going to be using not that one, this one. Or am I wrong? Oh, I'm right. Yeah. So this is my, yeah, well, so they may look the same on the tops and that. Well, maybe I should clean them up for you. Instead of, being lazy and not cleaning them up for you. I'll clean them up for you here. Basically everything that I try to do overclocking on, anything of sorts like that. Good. I always lap it, which some people may not know what lapping is. So if you want to know what lapping is, it's simply taking an object that is not perfectly flat and taking it and sanding or machining off the high spots to make it all one uniform and flat surface. So after I use like another lapped cooler for one of these, the thermal paste in between the lapped IHS, so the lap IHS is nice and flat, and then when I do my coolers, and then I do all my coolers, the cooler that I'm going to be using for this, I have a brand new one that I'm going to be using for this build. I'm just going to be showing a used one. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to show that it came factory. And it was already fairly flat. So, right? Fairly flat there. Should I be able to show that better? There we go. So see how shiny that is? It's not a perfect shine. It looks like it's a perfect shine. It's not a perfect shine. So after all my lapping, if after my lapping and so my lapping paper can just get smoother. If it's kind of too polished, I'll take it on 400 grit sandpaper, and I'll just do a very gentle light back drag on it, and you'll get some micro scratches, like you can't even feel them with your fingers. So as you can see, that one there was completely copper, right? Oh, you can somewhat see the micro scratches, and you kind of want those micro. You can't feel them, but you want them, so that way there's a little bit of a liquid metal that you might use, or thermal paste, and you don't want dry thermal paste. So you see this one here, how it has the top and the bottom still has a little bit of nickel. That's not because it's not flat. It's flat. It's still very, very, very flat. But sometimes when you get these, due to, like I said, a lot of these here are soldered, so it's silver soldered, so it doesn't take as much heat to solder it, basically. So they're soldered on, and for these bigger ones, so your bigger the CPU die, the bigger the IHS, the bigger everything is. The thread rippers had nasty concaves where the edges literally, like, you no matter what kind of mounting pressure, you'd have the thickest thermal paste in them. So this right here, when I lapped it, I check it on straight, a certain like kind of straight edge I use. You can use razor blades as well. The razor blade has to be a good quality razor blade, and it has to be brand new, and you have to take away the oil from it. So when you put it up, to the light, so that way when you put the razor blade up to the light, you don't see anything, and you're just gonna very gently check it all the way around everywhere, and once everything is completely you can't see light on the other side, or it's all perfectly even, that's where you want to stop. For these older ones, the newer ones, the IHS has to be a certain height above the actual plate here, right? So like that's one thing you have to worry about as well, is how much you're taking off, because you take off too much. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to open for me. Please. Open. Open says me. Thank you. Open says me. Alright, there we go. So, when you put your CPU in, you put your CPU in like this. On this one, sideways. Some of them are not. So when you put your CPU in, stay there. Alright. So when you put your CPU in, the IHS still needs to be above this. Everything here in this section, because the actual cooler will be over this whole section if you got appropriate cooler. If you use like an old Intel one, usually it's just a center. That's fine for these Xeons. Again, if you're overclocking it, that's the reason why we're doing this video, is usually because I do a lot of overclocking, right? And I want to see if I could play Counter-Strike 2 with an X5650. I'm pretty sure it's going to do better than the server. It's going to do better than it's definitely going to do better than i5 2400. Pretty sure it'll do better than the i7 2600. I have to do the test still for the i7 2600. We'll see if I get to it. But I want to see if it's actually close to the i7 3770K. With this CPU overclocked, I'm pretty sure I can get on this board, I can get it up to 4.3 or 4.5 gigahertz. This CPU, I should be able to get that high. The X5650, I'm pretty sure that's what I was running a lot of benchmarks like Cinebench on. So gaming should be no problem at that, no problem, on 6 cores. So that's one thing you gotta worry about though, is if you're gonna lap your anything, just watch out for the die height. That's one thing you gotta worry about. I don't recommend delitting, but sanding down your IHS so it's flat in your actual cooler, so it doesn't matter what you're using. I'll go grab the cooler that I'm gonna use for it. Alright, so this is a used one. I'm going to use a brand new one for the build, just because I have them. You can pick these up for, I believe they're still selling for about $35 or $40. I'm not 100% sure. These are the Peerless Assassins. Great. You can put, if your computer case can fit it, you can put one fan here, another fan here, and another fan here. That's 3 fans. The amount of airflow going through that would help the motherboard. It'll just help the cooling. I mean, look how many heat pipes we got there. We got 6 heat pipes. Oh, I'm not even high enough. We got 6 heat pipes there. This thing can cool. It says 200 watts. I've had it on the 12600K overclocked pretty high, and it kept up with it just fine. So it should do just fine with the X5650. Normally I do use my other custom water cooled loop, but right now I built a computer for my brother and his girlfriend to use, since He's never used one before, and I figured I'd let him try it to play his COD. He plays COD. I play Call of Duty, or I don't play Call of Duty anymore. Used to play Call of Duty back on Xbox and PlayStation 3. That's it. Yeah, and he also wants to hopefully get into Counter-Strike 2, so maybe I'll build him a PC in the future, make a video on that too. But yeah, this Pure Assassin's gonna be on for here. Shitting on something like that. Oh. Just basically sitting on something like that. Fan. Pretty sure it'll fit the fan here with what I'm gonna be going on. That's the cooler. The power supply, we don't need nothing too crazy. We are gonna be using 37 Ti. The X5650 can be pretty power hungry when it's overclocked. I'm talking like 250 watts ish when it's overclocked, so it's not like it's gonna be a efficient PC. We'll see what it's actually pulling while I'm gaming, but when it was doing benchmarks, not even to where I was like going crazy, it was drawing some pretty big numbers. But we're just still gonna go with the your smaller form factor style power supply, semi-modular Corsair. They're CX650Ms. They're fairly good price. Corsair also has it so with their newer lineups, you can actually overclock the fan, so you can actually set the fan speed in the OS. So while you're in Windows, you actually can set the fan, which is kind of nice with their newer stuff. So that way, if you want, if you notice that your power supply is getting kind of warm, or it gets warm, if you just draw that much power, you can set the fan to be a bit higher, which is nicer. Can also help with your stack pressure in your PC if you needed it. Yeah, so another part of most of my builds is this little 7-inch monitor. It's a 75 hertz 1080p monitor. It's great for testing. It's 75 hertz for testing these cheaper systems. Not bad. If it does way more than 75 hertz, I put it onto the big screen. And the RAM, like I said, just probably just gonna use these little sticks. These little guys don't work properly in this board, which could be an issue. And I'll switch it over to some regular SD RAM. Not that, that's DDR2. For Wi-Fi, just one of these little guys. Just one of these little guys is all you need for doing these kind of tests. If you want to get into like benchmarking, and you want, if you have a bunch of motherboards and that, you can literally just leave them in the motherboard or PC, and you got Wi-Fi as soon as you want it, or you never have to lose it. You can pick these up for a couple bucks a piece. It's very cheap Wi-Fi. What else should I go over for this? The fans, I guess. Yeah, probably just gonna be using mostly these NZXT fans. I might get for the actual cooler. I believe it does come with fans, which are their fans. I don't like them. They're very loud for what they should be. They're not even like the craziest speed. They're just really loud. Like they have a real whistle to them. Not nice. So if you do pick them up and you don't like loud fans when they're going, I suggest not buying it then. Or if you have fans and you just want a decent 180 watt, 200 watt, it says 200, but 180 watt cooling, then this Peerless Assassin is very nice, very nice. It comes with fans too. It comes with 2 fans, I believe. 2 fans. I'll just use these NZXT fans. Oh yeah, we gotta get the PC case. So the main piece on this one is actually the case. Oh yeah. Alright. So here it is. This is the Antec case. I've cleaned the top a bit. Oh, that's rough. I might wait actually. That's a little too much for me, even with the extraction fan going. But yeah, Antec case. This is an old Antec case. It's not in the perfect shape, so as you can see in the back there. So in the back there we got these. So in a lot of these earlier 2000 case, yeah, this is a big case, not light. This is very heavy, so you try to make this as quick as possible. Yeah, these pull-throughs. These holes here are technically for the custom water cooling that you would normally have. It wouldn't be in a case like this. It would normally be outside of your case. This would all be normally filled up, you know, with hard drive here and that. None of this is here. None of it. None of that's needed. You can take one of these Antec cases. You can actually make it a nice sleeper too if you wanted. Oh yeah, this thing's so nice. So it literally has sound dampening foam in the front. The side here, the sides have wide open. Oh, look at that! Look at that. So what was in this one before was a the super sensitive K-type probe that I use for a lot of my testing, and I use it a lot. The K-type probe here. Let's see if I can grab it without messing too much up. Yeah, so this, if you've seen it in my videos, that's just the monitor there. But here it is. A little K-type probe for this. I mean, ultra sensitive. You put it near something, it's just it instantly will tell you in 0.1 degree of what it is. And within, I believe it's within a second, 1 degree per second. If it's a very fast drop, it'll drop in 2, 3 increments. I believe that's as fast as it drops though, 3 increments. But very quick response. It was a 3070 Ti video that I did there showing the heat pumping out. It's crazy. That was in here, so it was in here for thermal control. Someone probably had this set up as a actual server of some sort. But yeah, it has dust filters everywhere in it. There, bottom as well. But the that right there, the temperature controller went in here. Then you would have I have them still potentiometers. So I have what came with it as well as wow, can't even say the word now. So yeah, it would come with it came with actual fan control speed and also temperature, so it would literally beep at you. But he had it so when it did that, it went on to another. Yeah, I don't know how he had it set up. It was crazy. It was really nice. But yeah, it was in here. I took it out and I use it for my overclocking, which is that K-type probe. So I'm gonna put a DVD hard drive in here because I kind of want to keep this somewhat like a sleeper original build. So like if you open up, you'd be like, no way! Like it has a little CD drive. And then here I'm gonna put 2 fans, or we'll see how things go. If I can be able to build my brother and his girlfriend another PC quickly, that can play COD. I might be able to get my custom water cooling loop back, or I can just switch out the custom water cooling loop with a Peerless Assassin, because the PC he's using right now is just the i7 3770K, but I do have it overclocked to like 4.1 or 4.2 gigahertz, which isn't crazy for that, but helps a lot for his gaming. I'm not sure if it will, the Peerless Assassin will take out that kind of heat out of that little die. That's all. But yeah, this is the Antec case. 2-fan front, 2-fan top. Side panel. The side panel does not have any kind of like venting at all. It's all fully enclosed, really thick metal. The power button didn't work before. I had to put in my own power button. The exact same power button it basically had before, just the wire is different and the button is new. So that's all I had to do with that. We'll see if I can get the front if I can get the front USB and headset working and mic working. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I don't think it's gonna be possible with this older board, but this, it does look like it has all the, yeah, it does look like it has USBs, multiple USBs. No F's. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. We'll see what it looks like. I'm very stoked about this one. Like, I'm happy. This is such a nice. It's not in perfect condition, as you can see right there. It's got a scratch, so I'm not very happy about it. I try to get the scratch out too. So if you do any kind of, if you want to get into this kind of stuff and pick up like cheaper PCs or modify your own PC, what you can pick up is headlight restore kit for like cars, and they come with like this very soft, probably be able to show you, comes with a very soft, but also it's not very soft technically. Oh no, where did I put it? So apparently I won't be able to show you because I put it away. Okay, so I put it away. Never mind. Yep, I did. Dang. But the pads, they're also like a micron grit, basically. The pads, without putting any of the polishing paste on it, it still has that. But if you don't use it and you just use water and you just go over top of, let's say an older PC case where you can feel all the imperfections in the paint, or even if you did your own paint job on your PC or whatever, you can go over it with those polishing pads. And like I said, headlight restore kit, like Canadian Tire, I'm not joking. You can do like a polishing on it, and it takes away all the bumps. So that way when you go back to do like a clear coat, if you're going to do a clear coat, it'll be very smooth, especially after you like wax it up or something like that, if you want to get like real nice. That's how I got rid of some of the scratches too. With the lighter scratches you can get rid of in metal. This is actual metal in the front, which is nice. And on the paint you can get rid of some of the defects in the paint that came from factory, or yeah, it's more or less factory, or if you did it yourself. But that's gonna be the build basically. It's just gonna be the Antec case, a fully original Intel DX58SO motherboard with a X5650 Xeon CPU, which is a 6-core 12-thread. We're going to be using the Peerless Assassin CPU cooler, CX650M PSU, 3070 Ti amp hollow for graphics card, has been copper modded. If you again, any comments in the comment section below, I try to get to, and I will try to either make a video ASAP, or if I have a video already in folder that I can make quickly, I will try to make a video explaining one of my videos quickly, or to show proof of my work. I will always show proof of my work for sure. For anyone that is very curious, that really is thinking about getting into this kind of stuff, or really like seeing it, I will try to do my best for you. So yeah, we'll be using those, all that in the build. Again, we're just going to be using 8 gigabytes of RAM. We could step it up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. But from, like I said, the tests I've done so far on this, 8 gigabytes has been just fine. As in, like, the performance isn't dropping a crazy amount going from 16 to 8. Especially for these older systems. I will do a test for DDR5. I'll go from I have a 48 gigabyte kit and a 32. Most kits you're getting nowadays is 32 gigs anyways, so I'll set the 48 gigabyte kit to the 5200 mega transfers per second that the other kit is, and we can do a comparison on timings and stuff too if you'd like. A lot of things we can do here. Yeah, I'm gonna get this PCL built, make it a bit of a classic. It's not even gonna be a sleeper because of the actual motherboard and CPU. We won't get the full performance out of the GPU. If I see that it's pushing the CPU too much, it's not really doing much, I'll throw the modded 1070 I have in. Currently using it just to record. I mean, it works good for gaming, it works good for recording. I really can't complain. Yeah, but again, leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get to you. And remember, don't forget to get her done.